If you're a busy guy like me, you want to build an anime physique, but you keep running into the 3 same problems. No time, no energy, and just kidding, no motivation. Now, you might think that you're absolutely cooked because you have literally no time in the day to invest in working out, eating healthy, and improving yourself. But in reality, that is just not true. Because I was able to build my anime physique while working 60 hours a week on my YouTube channel, business, and while working a full-time job. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you the exact same system that helped me accomplish that. So let's kick things off with your guys' #1 excuse: time. So back in 2024, when I was first building the channel, I was investing a lot of time coming up with good video ideas, thumbnails, titles, scripting the video, which that is a doozy, and of course, recording the videos, including all of this footage that you see here with my beautiful talking head, and of course, the footage of exercises that go into the videos. Not to mention growing the back end of the business side of things, which, oh boy, let's not get into that. And at the same time, to manage my own expenses, I was working a full-time job as an IT guy. Oh, but it doesn't end there, because I had to commute to work still, which sitting in rush hour, I don't know how many of you sit in rush hour, probably most of you, it friggin' sucks. And on top of that, my girlfriend was living about 5 hours away from me, so I pretty much was seeing her every weekend. So not only was I working 40 hours a week for my full-time job, I was working 20 hours a week to work on the channel and the business, and spending about 10 hours on the weekends total driving back and forth. And yet, despite all of that, I still managed to get a workout in 6 days per week, and while still working out for like an hour a day. So how did I manage it all? Well, it was actually very simple. And it's the same thing that helped one of my students, Daryl, lose 25 pounds in 4 months as a single father of 5. And if anybody's busy, it's that guy. And it starts by thinking like Saitama. See, Saitama wasn't always the One Punch Man. In fact, he also started as a salaryman, but he wanted to be a hero. After an encounter with the crab guy, he dedicated maybe an hour or so of training per day, every single day for 3 years. Despite going through pain, despite living a normal life as a salaryman, and despite wanting to give up, he pushed through and he stayed consistent. Why? Because he had his priorities in order and was doing everything around his #1 priority: become a strong hero who can defeat the bad guys in a single punch. Now, if any of us had the same priority levels as Saitama did, of course we'd be able to fit training in any schedule, which is why the first thing you need to do is to treat working out and taking care of your health as one of the top priorities in your life. You wouldn't be like, oh damn, I had such a busy day, I got no time to breathe. If you can treat working out the same, you're never gonna miss a day in your life, because it'll be as essential as breathing. And honestly, if you think about it, taking care of your health, working out, being active in movement is essential for human life. Start by coming up with a list of things you need to do in the day in order of priority and flexibility. The higher priority and least flexible tasks should be closer to the top because they're the hardest to move around and change. While low priority and more flexible stuff can be at the bottom because, well, you can do them anytime and they don't matter too much. Sleep would be #1. That should just be at the top of everybody's, because everybody's got to sleep. Work, you're a busy man, you're working a full-time job. Work has got to be #2. You got to put bread on the table. Work, including any like side hustles, any business stuff, that would be here. Anything outside of your full-time job as well. And the way I made it work for me was putting workout at #3. Bars. Then after that, it would be like eating food, getting groceries, etc. Fill up the rest of your list with things you have to do in the day. Your list will probably look different than mine. Maybe you have a few things beneath work and then workout, but workout should be pretty high on the list if you're trying to prioritize it and make time for it. And then once you have that list, get your calendar and start blocking out those times in the order of your list. Sleep, I would block out 7-8 hours. Work, that's easy, 9 to 5, done and dusted. And then with working out, you'll be able to put it anywhere you feel comfortable, whether that's in the morning before you go to work or right after work. Pro tip, try to keep working out either at the beginning or end of work, because then it won't feel like you're cutting things off. And then as you keep going down the list, you'll start working your tasks and things you need to do around the most important things. And you'll realize that once you fill these up, you'll be like, huh, I've always had time to work out. I just never thought of putting it as a #1 priority because I was doing this, and this. Now you're not trying to just fit your workout anywhere you can and struggling to find time for it, but instead everything is revolving around when you work out. So you guarantee that you will have time for it. But some of you guys might still be thinking, but Kevin, I still literally don't have the time to work out. Honestly, sure, valid point. Maybe you literally just don't have the time to work out for an hour. But that's how Sung Jin Woo solves this problem. Sung Jin Woo is definitely a Sigma grind set type of guy, doing all them dungeons and such. working hard, saving his mom. What a good boy. But he probably wouldn't be as strong or cold as he is if he didn't sacrifice his old life. Sacrificing time with his sister, cutting off old friends, and even cutting off some heads. Not saying you guys need to do any of that. All I'm saying is that some of you guys do have the time to work out. You're just filling in that time with things that don't serve you, like video games, doom scrolling, watching random YouTube videos. I mean, not even just that. Like, if we just cut away your screen time and how much you scroll on Instagram or TikTok, we'd probably shed like 8 hours of your week. I've seen some crazy screen times. And this may seem daunting, just trying to sacrifice all these habits you've kept your whole life. But think about it. You're starting to work out. You're starting to go through an identity shift with your physique and your discipline. The least you can do is sacrifice the old habits that are just not doing it for you and replace those and make time for them good habits. But even if you think you have only a sliver of time to work out, or life is just kicking you in the butt and making you extra busy for no reason, then you can solve this pretty easily by thinking like Midoriya. Midoriya isn't the strongest hero in the world, but what he does do well is adapt to a situation. Like One For All would have blown up his limbs if he used it, which is why he worked out to build up his strength. While not blowing up, it does break his limbs every time he uses it, so he adapted to just using his fingers. Next up, his arms, they were at their limit, so he started using his legs, and then full body, and then etc. Whenever an issue arose, he worked around it and immediately adapted to make it work for him. When issues arise in your life and you need to take priority on other things, that's still not an excuse to give up and neglect your workout. What you need to do is adapt your workout and actually shorten the length of time you actually need to get an effective one in. There are 3 ways that you can shorten your workouts depending on your situation. If you know you're going to have a busy week come up, like a lot of overtime at work, it's crunch time, the office needs you there, then you can adapt your existing workout to a 2-day full body split. That way you only have 2 workout days to worry about, and it leaves you much more flexible because on the days you're super busy, you can just treat that as a rest day because you only got 2 days to work out. The second way I like to adapt my workouts is when I have less than an hour to work out, or if something spontaneous happens, like, oh shoot, I need to get a workout like right now. It's one of my favorite methods. I've used this so many times. Take your workout and only do 1 set of each exercise, but increase the number of reps by 2 to 3 times the original reps for one given set. Like if I was doing 3 sets of 10 pull-ups, maybe instead I'm doing now 1 set of 25 pull-ups. I call this the hyperbolic time chamber method. See, the overall volume is the same. You're doing a similar number of reps, but by cutting the rest times, you're actually going to be cutting your workout time in half. At worst, you'll work out for only 30 minutes. Best, you might even get it under 20. Now keep in mind that you're probably not going to hit 25 reps on pull-ups, but the goal isn't for you to hit 25 reps on the pull-ups in the set. So if you do get to like 10 as your max, just take a little break for 10 seconds, hop back on the bar, and keep trudging forward until you hit that number you set for yourself. But if that's too exhausting for you, you can always try the third method. Combine 2 of your exercises into the same set, meaning you do one after the other. This is called the superset, and it can save tons of time in your workout. These are the same tactics I use in my Protagonist Method program to give everybody an opportunity and to get rid of any excuse. I mean, look at Daryl. Single father of 5, a guy who has all the excuses in the world to say he doesn't have time, still put in the work using hyperbolic time chamber and using the Protagonist Method to build up his strength and lose 25 pounds in 4 months. So if you want to be like Daryl, or you want to be like Edison, or you want to be like Rafe, who grew his wings in a single month and finally unlock your anime physique, click the link below. But the thing is, even if you use all of the methods that I just showed you, some of you guys will still feel like you have 0 time. Because for most of you, we're not addressing the root of the situation. And it goes something like this. King from One Punch Man, from the other character's perspective, looks like one of the strongest guys in the world, whose time is so valuable, he cannot waste a second on things that don't matter. Or he can't go into that evil base, he's too busy fighting spaghetti monster. When in reality, those excuses were just a cover-up for the real underlying issue. He has been finessing everybody this entire time, and he actually ain't that guy. And a lot of times, we're finessing ourselves. You're not really busy, you just don't have the motivation to do it. So, you need to become motivated. Easy. But there lies another problem. Motivation is as reliable as Yamcha is in a fight. It's just not. Most guys will sit quietly, waiting for the motivation to act, waiting for the perfect conditions to start, and then they find it. They watch that cool anime motivational edit, which pumps them up to start. Then a week later, they're back to square one saying, oh, I just don't have the time, while playing League of Legends for hours and eating Doritos. And especially if you're a guy who works a 9 to 5, it can be hard to find the motivation after a long day at work. But don't worry, because there is a way to bypass using motivation entirely. And that's by training a different type of muscle inside this noodle here. Whenever you're not in the mood to do something, but you do it anyway, even if it's like the smallest thing, a part of your brain, which name I cannot pronounce, gets bigger. And as that area gets bigger, it actually makes it easier to do hard things. A lot of neuroscientists and researchers believe that this part of the brain is the site and source of willpower, which is pretty freaking cool. And the fact that you can train it like a muscle is even more freaking cool because 1, it shows that your willpower can be increased, and 2, just like a muscle, we can use progressive overload. Now, you're not going to be able to do Goggins level crap on day 1. No one can be like the Gog man. Absolutely no one. But you can start by doing something small, like just showing up to the gym or doing 1 set of an exercise rather than 3 or 4. But I know this is easier said than done. So I want to give you my number 1 tactic for doing things, even if you really don't feel like doing it. This is going to sound cringe, but let me cook. What the frick was that? Pretend you are the protagonist. I am not asking you to act like this or this or this. For the love of God, don't. But instead, imagine that there is a camera on you and an eager audience is binge watching you, waiting for you to do something cool and exciting. Of course, no one is actually watching, except me. I'm watching through your window right now. But you don't want to disappoint your audience, right? You're no One Punch Man Season 3. You are Attack on Titan Final Season. If you're supposed to work out, but you are making some lame-ass excuse again, then this anime series is gonna suck. But if you pretend people are watching you, like people are relying on you, they're watching your life, they're waiting for something exciting to happen, then that's going to drive you to move forward because you act so differently when people are watching you versus when people are not. So if you say to yourself, like any protagonist would, like if you say, you know what, this thing is hard to do and I don't want to do it, but despite that, I'm making the conscious choice to do it anyway, now you're like Itadori. Now you're like Sung Jin Woo. Now you're like Eren Yeager. And now you're like, insert protagonist here. You are now the guy who is willing to go through hell to get what they want. And now the audience is seeing that too, which is the essence of the main character. And it's what you should embody if you want to get this bread and finally get your anime physique. Now, maybe some of you guys do have the time. And some of you probably do have the discipline. But you might still be experiencing this big issue. It's the same thing I experienced. I'd come home from a day of work. I need to get my workout in. And I gotta start writing a video. Some days, I just want to give up. In fact, one day I did. I actually completely missed an upload for a week. And that's when I realized the way I was living right now, going to work, needing to work out, and then making the video, that wasn't going to get me to where I wanted to be. So over time, I discovered some small habits and a few mindset tricks that not only helped me continue working out, even when the busy days got super draining, but also left me with more energy at the end of the day. First things first, I needed to fix my 9 to 5. Since I was afraid of getting my energy drained, I personally took it easy at work. I was on my phone more, doing the bare minimum, and constantly looking for an excuse not to engage with the work in front of me. But when I got home, I just felt more drained than ever. Then, I decided to try something. Why don't I stop going on my phone at work and stop waiting for the clock to hit 5? What if I took on more tasks at work and started taking initiative on projects, started taking full autonomy on projects? What if I decided to actually be engaged at work and start having fun with it, like listening to music or treating projects like a game? All of a sudden, I come home with even more energy, feeling good about my day, and that gets me to be even more productive. These tactics I found in the book Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal. Ali says in part of the book that if we learn to make our day jobs fun, find ways to engage more, find ways to make it more playful, then the work that used to drain us can actually energize us and make us more productive after work. If you're struggling with this concept, you can just repeat this mantra over and over in your head. What would it look like if this was fun? There'd probably be music playing. You'd probably be dancing a bit while you do your thing. I know I was dancing in my office chair. Everybody looked at me like crazy, but I didn't care. I was too busy making YouTube videos. But what's probably more important than fixing your 9 to 5 is fixing your 5 to 9. Or for most of you, 5 to 1 a.m. Because some of you just don't know how to sleep. The easiest way to get more energy is just sleep more, guys. You deserve your rest. Now, I know it's not as simple as, oh, just sleep more, you're gonna get more energy. For some of you, that might not work. So here are other ways to increase your energy so that the too tired excuse never comes up again. Some foods like pasta, bread, or high sugar stuff can make us feel a little sluggish when we eat a lot of it. So fix up the diet, start eating cleaner, and start eating foods that actually make you feel good and not make you feel like you gotta poop out a brick later. Next, your phone can be a massive drain of energy. All the social media, all the random ass weird news, like how Stranger Things Season 5 didn't do well, stuff's gonna make you depressed. and depression makes you tired. So limiting screen time, being in the real world a bit, not sound like a hippie, is probably very helpful. But this is probably one of the most helpful ones that I know most of you don't do. Touch grass. Having the sun hit your face, the fresh air, and no distractions like phone or music, I really sound like a hippie now, does so much good for energizing any human being. But here's the issue, is that even if you have all the time in the world to work out, you won't be able to keep consistent if your brain is constantly screaming at you to chill, relax, stop doing this is hard. So click here to find out how to kill that voice and force your brain to crave working out.